And that brings us to our last review of the day, Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron. Both of you have seen it. Who wants to go first?
Byron, you need to start watching some movies, man.
I know, guys. I don't know what happened. Okay, last year I was like the best. I was the best.
Yeah, now you're
I
not.
did like 120. I did like 125 or some shit last year. And although like this year I'm still at 100. Like
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, guys. It's just, dude. I live in New Zealand, bro. I don't get to watch everything. Okay, my theater fucking sucks. So as much as I praise my country, like
It's
it's
not your fault.
movies. Good.
We'll let it slide.
Fuck.
You can go ahead, Harry. I think you watched it longer ago than I did. Yeah, I've seen it twice now. I love this movie. This movie's great. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I anything Ghibli that I was I think I was chatting to you guys about this. Anything Ghibli, I'm always gonna love. It just has this way to just take you and like transport you to this random fucking world that like don't try and like analyze it at all. Just go along with the ride. So I've seen the dubbed and the subbed version because I saw the sub version first, just because I went to the premiere and there was like two rooms, there was two theaters, and they're like, would you rather see this one or that one? And I'm like, I want the one that Miyazaki first did. So I went to the subbed, but then yeah, the cast is disgusting for the dubbed, so I went and saw it. Shout out to Robert Pattinson as the Heron. He's amazing. Is it what's the main character again now? Marito?
Mojito?
Mahito. Like, he's unreal. Like he's such a his voice is unbelievable in this. But this movie has a way to just transport you. And every little character that pops up is so unique and fun and really
Hmm.
inquisitive. Shout out to the best character in cinema this year, being the Parakeet King. That guy is incredible. He has some fucking sweet drip. Big fan of him. Big fan of him. Big fan. I love this movie. This whole idea of this boy kind of refinding like the love of his memory of his mother and like the love of life in a way. I think is really beautiful, and it's like heartbreaking, but it's like very melancholic. Is like that's all
Hmm.
Ghibli films in a way, right? But I think this is done just so damn well. I don't think this is the best Ghibli film, but it's hard to really rank those movies. They're just always so heartwarming. So like it very much it earns its place alongside it. And if this is Miyazaki's last, which I doubt it, but if this is Miyazaki's last, I think it's a great one to end on. What about you?
Yeah, and I feel like I saw quite a few reviews where people were kind of analyzing like this being his last and kind of why the messaging in this one makes so much sense. Like if it was his last film, like as far as like the even like some of the themes they touch on with like mortality and even death, with the relationship, kind of learning about his grand or great uncle, I think they call him, grand uncle, great uncle. But yeah, I think it's definitely the most ambitious with the fantasy adventure elements and as far as like the world that he's in. I think it's definitely the most out there out of all the at least the Miyazaki films I've seen. I've only seen four. But this one is definitely I feel like his most like out there. So it may not be the most like approachable for just any audience member for that reason, just because the world is a little bit more like crazy and all over the place. But I think it worked in its favor. How kind of just insane that world was that he was in. And I think the interesting like additive of the bird, I'm very curious, like the bird part of it and like maybe what that means more. I know it has to mean something. I'm not quite sure what,
Uh,
but I don't know. I think it's an interesting choice.
I I saw him like this isn't a spoiler at all. I saw like the you mean like the heron, like what the I saw him as
Just the fact that there's so many birds in general,
right.
like so
Okay,
many different types and colors, and just.
I saw him as like a representation of the learning of death and the acceptance of death being a real thing in life. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, and I also feel like a lot of people are afraid of birds. So I didn't know if maybe like using that animal specifically kind of brought into like that fear aspect a little bit. But
But
yeah, I thought that it was fantastic. I gave this a 4.5 as well. Actually, I gave all of these movies a 4.5, but all for different reasons, obviously. But this one, I think the animation, I've never seen a Studio Ghibli film on the big screen. The animation was
stunning.
so, so good.
Like
Um, go ahead, Harry, if you.
Byron,
wanted to add to
are
that.
you afraid of birds by any chance, Byron?
Afraid of afraid of birds.
Yeah, birds frighten you, don't they?
The fuck? No. Who the
Oh,
fuck? No. Where'd you get it from?
I just thought maybe. Yeah, I loved Boy and the Heron as well. I gave it 4 parakeets out of 5. Um, it could go up to 4.5. The Parakeet King. Guess who? Do you know who he's voiced by in the dubbed version?
I don't.
Fucking Batista. And it
Oh my
fits.
god,
It fits so.
Fuck yeah.
Fits so perfectly. You're like,
that's fantastic.
Byron, when you're watching
Good old
this,
Dave.
it's going to get to a point where there's like all these different parakeets everywhere, and then there's just one that steps forward, and you're like, yeah, I fuck with this guy hard. Like this guy's great, big fan. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I think yeah, it's up there with
The animal.
it probably is my favorite animated film of the year. I can't think of a better one. Like it's better
Yeah, I
than
think it is for me as well.
Mario. It's what's the other ones that came out? I think that's it.
Spider-Verse?
Or maybe
Oh no, I have
yeah,
Spider-Verse
yeah. I
above
do have
it. Never
Spider Verse
mind.
above it. I do have Spider Verse
I
above
was
it.
like, what the fuck?
I do think this
Sorry.
win. I do think this wins the Oscar for best animated because just to give it to
Oh yeah,
Miyazaki.
I reckon yeah, they'll rob Spider-Verse of it. In no way they're
Yeah.
getting the superhero movie it.
But I don't think
It is
Spider Verse
really
will be
good though.
robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Spider Verse
No,
will
I
be
mean, maybe
taken.
rob's probably not the right word, but they
Like
should win.
yeah, but
I think.
yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Well done.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely worth a watch. I'm curious to watch the dubbed one and just kind of and see how that like unfolds and if it kind of has the same impact. I'm sure it will. I've heard it's a really like accurate translation and the actor like the voice actors are really good.
Did
But
you?
yeah, for me it very much like gave me Spirited Away vibes as far as like it's like
Mm,
obviously like a male coming of age story, but I think the world he kind of gets escaped into is it really reminded me of that. I did like Spirited Away more, but I still think this is a really solid like coming of age, learning about like it's okay to like forget things and move on and like kind of go to the next phase of your life, but still hold on to like those memories and the feelings that you got with certain people in your life. So yeah, definitely great like themes, a little bit of different coming of age themes than I feel like every other anime story has. So I think that was kind of nice. It was a little bit more unique in that sense. So yeah, definitely highly recommend.
have you heard the story of how Robert Pattinson did his lines?
No.
So he started and finished this whole movie in 2 days. And he came into the studio and he's like, I've already done a lot of them. And he pulls up his phone voice notes and just sends them to him. And the majority of them are used in the movie, which is just like him at home just being like, Marito. Like he's amazing. Like he's great. It's very, very impressive what he was
That's
able to do.
insane. Talk about another actor, Twilight
To
now
Boy
what
and the
he's
Heron, yeah,
accomplished,
to fucking Batman.
to Batman,
From
to
a bat to
a movie
bat.
that's going to come out next year that I'm sure we'll talk about soon.
Oh,